Well, after 3 weeks of football and 28 matches involving 16 different teams, in a few hours' time, we'll be down to the final 2. The nation, of course, holds its breath, hoping that England is one of them. But who will be first to qualify for Sunday's final? France, the favourites, but they aren't able to field their strongest team. Carambeu suspended and Deschamps injured. Even so, no fewer than 9 of these players have figured in every game so far. And the French are on a tremendous roll, as you've heard, unbeaten in 27 games, stretching back 2.5 years. They have a reputation for skillful attacking football, but like all the great teams, their real strength is in defence. The Czech Republic can no longer be regarded as surprise outsiders. They beaten Italy, Portugal and Russia, all teams expected to do well in these championships. However, they paid the highest price for the worst disciplinary record in Euro 96, with no fewer than 4 players suspended from this lineup. Still, there's no pressure on them, and that could have a liberating effect on the way they play today. The referee today, the Scotsman Leslie Mottram, and I must say he's one of the best officials I've seen in these championships, and there has been some very inconsistent refereeing so far. A look at the substitutes, both benches depleted by injuries and suspensions, and in fact the Czech Republic have only 5 outfield players to call upon today, and I understand that one of them, Patrick Berger, is unwell and unlikely to be used. Here's the man whose wonder goal ensured the Czechs their place in the semi-finals. Karol Poborský, said to be the subject of interest from several clubs here in England. And I'm sure a few clubs would like to buy this fella, the French goalkeeper, Bernard Lamar, who had an excellent game against Holland in the quarter-finals. So it's France in their change strip of all white who get us underway on this cool, cloudy, and indeed rainy day in Old Trafford, a day when Manchester's reputation for wet weather has been upheld. Thuram, Zidane with the first layoff and the first throw-in to the Czech Republic. Alongside me today, a man who knows this stadium pretty well, Ron Atkinson. Ron, can this dream of the Czech Republic going all the way to the final happen?
Well, we saw it last time out with the Danes. I think they've got it all on, to be fair. I think the thing is set up. We've heard how great this French side is. Any side that can play without Ginola and Cantona's got to be great. They've got to prove it today, because they'll never have a better chance of going to the final.
Foul there by Jokejev on Němec. Wearing number 17, Schmitzer, the man whose winner against Russia at Anfield started the fairy tale, if you like, although I guess the victory over Italy was what made everyone wake up to the presence of the Czech Republic in these championships. Němec again. Zidane held him off. Kadlec with the long ball forward, chased by Drulak. Lizarazu's had a very consistent championships. The little man on the left of the French defence just joined Athletic Bilbao in Spain from Bordeaux. Now Thuram. Zidane. There's a new face for the French team in these championships. Not him, it's Lamouchi, who just won the throw-in then, his first game. And he gets it back again. Zidane. Desailly moved from his defensive role to midfield today. It's a position he's very familiar with in his club football. It won't be a problem for him. But the real problem, I think, will be for the Czechs today, Ron. Obviously, so many changes is going to be disruptive, and it's going to take them time to settle.
Exactly right. I mean, all right, the French have lost 2 major midfield players, but they've had a fairly comfortable ride to this stage. I mean, I think the Czechs have come here decimated, really, and if the French up the tempo, I think that will not give the Czechs problems. I think if they give it a slow tempo, I think the Czechoslovakian side will be very, very happy with that. I see Smitsa straight away. I've seen him play up in a central striking position when he's come on a sub. It looks as if he's going to occupy an orthodox left wing position.
Dusan Ukrin is the coach of the Czech Republic. He's been in the job for the last 3 years. He only had a modest career as a player, but has certainly had great success already at international level and at club level.
I certainly think if they hadn't had to make those changes, particularly the ones, the suspended ones, I'd have given them an even money chance today. I mean, you look at them when they came through, they were quite good coming through in the qualifying stages of the group. And I also think the game against Italy was the best game I've seen in the tournament.
Yes, they had a rather bizarre qualification, did the Czechs. They actually beat Holland 3-1 at home and drew 0-0 in Holland, but incredibly they lost against Luxembourg, and that's just unheard of at international level, and they only drew against Malta. So we saw the best and worst of them getting to England, but we've certainly seen the best of them since. Bit of skill there by Jokaev.
I think he saw his shadow Rada, though, follow him right into the depths of midfield. He's going to be touch tight with him as much as he can.
Laurent Blanc rather overhitting it, but he is another player who's taken the eye in these championships. Great friend of Eric Cantona, spends quite a bit of time with him, and I've heard a lot of people in the last couple of weeks say that they felt sure that the French would have won these championships if Cantona had been in their side, and of course Ginola from Newcastle, but the coach felt otherwise.
I certainly bet Terry Venables wished he could pick both for this evening's game, because that would guarantee us a place in the final. I think those two would actually guarantee us the trophy.
Foul there by Lamouchi. Novotny, winning his first cap for the Czechs today, takes the free kick. And not a very good one. Duran gets it back from Jokaev. Zidane played it in behind Jokaev, but Desailly for once beaten in the tackle. That doesn't happen too often. Niemetz. Jacquet always knew his side was going to make an impact on these championships. The French coach, he changes his team and his tactics a lot, but he's kept with basically the same players here, and that has certainly paid off. Here's Guerin, one of those who has played in every game. Hadlets wins it back for the Czech Republic. Novotny is only 22. And here's Schmitzer. Interception by Lamouchi, who plays for Auxerre. Newcomer into the squad this season. Němeček.
Yes, I don't think you're going to see too many Czech midfield players try and get past the striker. I think Drulak's going to have a thankless task up front, the number 10. It's his first game, isn't it? He's coming for his first game.
In these championships, yeah.
I mean, he's got the same job as Pavel Kuka had against Germany, and that is to play as the solo man up there.
Zidane holding off the challenges and doing well. Guerin. Bit awkward for Loco, but he kept the attack moving, and Lamouchi is on this right-hand side. Thuram. Desailly, and now Lizarazu. French have committed a lot of players forward in this attack, but it's a goal kick.
And that's the first time in the course of the game that Desailly, who I think we both agree is one of the outstanding players in the tournament, whether it's at the back or midfield, popped it off wide, and then I think he's looked at it and thought, hey, there's no real threat at the moment. They're not looking to go the other way. I'm going to go charging into the box. And if he starts thrusting in with his power, and that could give the Czechs a big, big problem.
Poborski playing it back again to Honiak. And Desailly fouled. Free kick to France. He's an enormous man. He's built like a heavyweight boxer rather than a footballer, Marcel Desailly. And that physique enables him to steer clear of injuries. He's hardly missed a game for the French in the last 3 years.
It's actually one of the lowest tempo games I've seen in the tournament, which is strange for a semi-final. Whether that's due to the fact the crowd are very quiet. I mean, that's been one of the great things of the tournament, has been the involvement of the spectators from all nations. This one's a very, very quiet game at the moment.
Yeah, certainly, whatever you regard as the seriousness of the loss of their football teams, there's no doubt that the loss of the Italian and Dutch supporters is a big blow to these championships. They've created a great atmosphere, particularly the Dutch, wherever they've been. Here's Laurent Blanc. Zidane, and now Thuram. Mouchy making the run. He comes in field to Jokayev. Desailly. Lizarazu. And the Czechs defending well. It's something they have proved capable of doing. And now they attack with pace. Drula. Two men in the middle for him. One of them is Schmitzer, and also Nedved. Well, he was hoping for a free kick, but the linesman kept his flag down, and the referee waves play on. Němeček has it back. Now Poborski. Laurent Blanc with the interception. And unfortunate for Lizarazu, he trod on the ball, but Poborski couldn't go any further. Now Nedved. Poborski again. And that's a free kick.
Yeah, I think they'll look to this little fella. Poborski and Nedved are, if anything, the sort of live wires of the side. They're the ones that pick the tempo up at any given time.
They've had an interesting free kick routine in these championships so far, the Czechs. They have about half a dozen players who group on the edge of the penalty box and split off in different directions. They've tried it just about every free kick they've had. And they try it again. And Lamar wasn't quite sure whether they'd come or not. Kept in play by Horniak. Němec. Unlucky for Němec. Good little player, experience, his 44th international today. 10 minutes gone, a quiet opening. Mouchy gets himself in trouble.
Which I would have thought, if anything, watching the French club sides in Europe and also in their league programs, as you see quite a bit of them, I would have thought that this definitely suits the Czechs to have a low tempo.
Yes, in fact, the coach of France came up with a lovely phrase to describe the way the Czechs play. He said, they lull you in and send you to sleep, then they hit you on the break. But it's France trying to hit them on the break. With a great ball for Loco. Horniak is the defender. Good tackle on Guérin by Nedved, who was suspended for the quarter-final against Portugal, having had a couple of yellow cards. The Czechs with the worst disciplinary record in these championships. 14 yellow cards and 1 red in 4 matches going into today's game. The Spanish, incidentally, are the next worst. Here's Laurent Blanc. Jokayev. Schmitzer for the Czechs. Kadlec. Němec. Oh, lovely skill. Twinkling feet from the little man on the left. But not a very good ball at the end of it.
Well, the quality's poor, isn't it? The quality's very, very poor at the moment. I wouldn't say they were nervous or edgy, but it needs something, it needs a spark.
Perhaps Guérin can provide it. No, he can't. Kadlec with a comfortable clearance.
It needs either a crunching tackle that stirs somebody up or a fiery run that finishes with a good shot. Something's needed from the game, because at the moment it's like watching, well, proverbial watching paint dry, isn't it?
Nedved doing well to keep that ball in. Horniak. And this is Pavel Novotny. Desailly's interception. He can't hit the ball early, which was his intention, because there was just no movement for him.
And of course, as soon as one of the French back players, I mean, you look at Blanc, we know he's a great player that can bring the ball forward, but when they look up, they'll see a flood of red shirts between them and the goal.
Desailly. Jokeyev beaten to it again. Schmitzer. That's excellent skill by Schmitzer. And still Schmitzer. Well, he got carried away a little bit, really. He created a bit of an opening and then went wild with the shot. Vladimir Schmitzer, who was due to get married on Friday. And obviously, if the Czech Republic managed to win this and reach the final, he's going to have to postpone the nuptials. Zidane. That was an important challenge by Cadlets, otherwise Loco would have been in behind him. Lamouchi. Space opens up for the shot, but Lamouchi slides it infield instead and couldn't quite get the return ball he was hoping for. Cadlet's clearance. That was a bit more inventive from the French, who started really very low-key here. Laurent Blanc, the sweeper. Zidane. And they said could be the next Platini, and the Platini is amongst the spectators here at Old Trafford today, incidentally. Now Laurent Blanc. Thuram. Well, they certainly haven't found their rhythm yet, Ron.
No, but I think they're very comfortable. They know that there's been very little threat from the Czech Republic. They're pretty happy about just pushing it about. And I think as the game develops, we said about Desai making runs into the box. I think we're certainly going to see Thuram from this side of the field, the big right-sided defender start powering on. But they know they've got plenty of time, so they're not going to rush it. I would just like to see a little bit of zip from somebody on the field. Whether, you know, you have to accept the fact that they've played quite a number of games, both sides, over a short period of time, and whether that's starting to catch up. Whether it's the very fact it's not a full house or there's not a particularly partisan crowd.
Here's Novotny for the Czechs. Touched on by Němec, but straight to Alain Roche. And the Paris Saint-Germain player brings the ball out. Lovely little back healer for Guérin. And Yed made sure he got no further.
You can actually see why the Czech Republic gets so many bookings, though, because they play the majority of the game from the halfway line towards their own goal. And they're always in very, very close contact to players. They're always making sort of challenges, either from behind or from the side.
Thuram looking for Lamouchi. That was a good, clean tackle by Novotny. Nothing wrong with that one, for sure. And Schmitzer on the run here. Well, you won't knock him off the ball for strength, that's for sure. Desai, a mountain of a figure, and he gets the free kick award. Foul by Němeček. He hardly moved, really. Zidane. And won back well by Němec. Ahead of him is Drulak. Lizarazu. Now Guérin. And the fullback takes over again. Jokeyev in a free roll, drifting out to that left-hand side. Now Desai. And again. Zidane. Lizarazu. And that's a useful ball back to him. Has he got room for the cross? He doesn't need it because he's got a free kick. He's done better still. Foul by Poborski.
Just get the impression at the moment that the French are just waiting for something to happen. I think they get the feeling that even if they just keep playing at this tempo, there's a goal there for them.
Jokeyev will take this free kick then. The big man forward It's hit towards Laurent Blanc on the far post. Cadlets gets it half clear, and Zidane couldn't play it back in. And the Czechs concede another, or rather gain a free kick, this time foul on Nedved. France previous winners of these championships in 1984 when it was played in their country. They beat Spain in the final, and when it was Czechoslovakia rather than the Czech Republic, they too were winners 20 years ago, a famous final against Germany. I wonder if that's an omen, hopefully not, when they won that on penalties. The only time a major tournament has been decided on penalty kicks at international level.
Yeah, we're just thinking what we could do with, you mentioned that French side. Couldn't we do with something like a Gires, a Platini, or people like that, Tigana, somebody that could light the game up at the moment, because at the moment it is so boring.
Not impressed then, Ron?
No, I mean, by and large, you have to say that that's because of the way the Czech Republic have set their stall out. That's their way of playing. They've been depleted because of keep major players missing, so they're going to say, all right, we'll make it very, very difficult for France to break us down.
Djorkaeff tries to do that with a whipped-in cross that was very, very inviting, but nobody bothered.
Yeah, that was good work. Good work from Djorkaeff out on the left. Good quick feet, good early whipped-in cross, hitting an area where quite possibly he may have expected, you know, one of his front players to be at least going in on the end of it. But perhaps they've been lulled into the sort of slow tempo of the game.
Strange, having seen the quarter-final against Portugal, the first half was almost identical to this. And we were saying then, what a dull game. The Czechs haven't shown much invention, but how different they were in the second half, particularly once they'd scored. Here's Drulak for them now. Set it up nicely. He's a bit of a veteran these days, Drulak, 34 now, and only plays for a small provincial club back home.
Doesn't half got a job. I mean, he's playing central striker here. You see, he's spun out to the left, teases the defender, gets a double cover on, but doesn't quite hit his shots as well as he would have liked to. But creditable effort considering he lacks support. At least something happened.
And with 20 minutes gone, little has happened, frankly, and neither goalkeepers even got near having to make a save.
I heard you say earlier in the commentary about the French coach comment about, you know, about they lull you, about the Czechoslovakians lull you into it. They can also, and I don't mean this as a sort of disparaging remark, they can also bore the opposition sometimes into losing concentration.
A new tactic in the game, is it send everyone to sleep and then wake them up with a goal against?
I mean, they'll pass the ball around, they'll keep the ball, they'll pass the ball around, they won't be too fussy about making progress. And they'll also know the onus is on the French. The French come here as very, very hot favourites to go through to the final. And they'll probably consider the Czech Republic will probably consider they've done enough.
Foul there on Novotny gives the Czechs a free kick. Slid in quickly to Němeček. Schmitzer. He's got a bit about him, certainly, when he gets the ball at his feet. He is direct, but has to lose possession this time to Lamouchi. Now Lizarazu. Back it goes again to the fullback, the captain of Bordeaux last season when they reached the UEFA Cup final. Here's Zidane, who's just joined Juventus, the champions of Europe. He also played for Bordeaux. Djorkaeff, another one on the move to Italy. Desailly, who already plays there for AC Milan, and now Touron. He didn't give Loco much hope with that one. And Cadlets walks the ball out of defence almost.
Yeah, the player I feel most sorry for at the moment is the French forward Djorkaeff. He's making movement all over the field.
Zidane releases Loco. Djorkaeff is in a good position in the centre now, but it was a poor cross.
I think he got confused there, Loco. Djorkaeff made it first as if he was going to dart towards the near post and then pulled away, just pulled away to the far post. And I think that confused Loco. Here you see, watch Djorkaeff there, looks as if he's going to the near post, sees the space at the second post. But I go along with you, it wasn't the best cross in the world all the same. And the interesting thing was for me that there was only one forward attack in the box. I mean, I think the French could release players more from the defensive areas or midfield areas.
Actually, I think this is the third or fourth time I've seen France, who, incidentally, I'm not being disloyal or unpatriotic, but I did have my money on them before it all started. And they haven't been massively convincing. They have, at stages in games, looked excellent. But you wouldn't say by any means they've looked the best team in the championships. And they're certainly not looking that at the moment. Schmitzer's layoff was excellent. Novotny helps it back to the forward player. He has Drulak in support. And he's got it back off Laurent Blanc. Unlucky. Schmitzer looks the player most likely to create a bit of danger to the French defence at the moment. But here's Jokayev showing his considerable skill on the ball. Lamouchi. Ahead of him is Loco. Offside, though.
Yeah, the hardest working players, I've said, Jokayev has worked tremendously hard, worked all across the line to try and get himself some space, and it looks very much as if the French front players are going to have to do that, you know, because there's very little room for them to manoeuvre. They've got to go and keep making movement to open things up for themselves.
Schmitzer, Niemetz, Nedved. And Poborski, who hasn't seen much of the ball yet.
Now, he's just holding that little right-hand spot at the moment. I think that's part of the containment plan.
But here he is, against Lizarazu. And pulled back a very dangerous ball. Well read as ever by Laurent Blanc, but that could have been punishing. Now, the French try and hit the Czechs at their own game with a quick counter-attack. But Zidane had to go square rather than forward. Here he is again. Foul, free kick to France.
Yeah, silly foul, really. I mean, Les Mottram might be a little bit lenient with him, but that could well have been another booking.
Well, definitely the German referee who took charge of Czech Republic against Portugal would have had him in the book for that. Lamouchi's shot, and I don't know whether that counts as the nearest we've had to a goal-bound effort yet, and that was several yards wide. Did the double with his club side Auxerre last season, and actually has Tunisian parents and could have played for them at international level. Sabri Lamouchi. 25 minutes gone. Frankly, it's been a yawn. It's a bit like some of those opening group games rather than the semi-final.
I know you're going over old ground, but you can't help thinking if Eric Cantona was here, Old Trafford, there'd be another 15,000 people in, I would guess, and the volume would be very much increased, wouldn't it? Even that, from a psychological point of view, would be a big help.
As long as they were prepared to give up their summer holidays, the price of some of the tickets at these venues well beyond the reach of most working men, I fear. Guerin. Good play by Loco, but he didn't get the free kick he was hoping for. Now Niemetz. Nedved. Poborski now finds a bit of room. He's had to drop deep to get it, though. And I must say Drulak looks a little bit off the pace of things at the moment, playing instead of the suspended Kuka.
Yeah, but it's ever so hard for somebody to play that role, you know. You know, I've got to be a good player to play that role. I watched Pavel Kuka in the first game against Germany. I have to be honest, I thought it was awful. He's been impressive in the subsequent games, mainly because I think he's been given a lot more support. But this is very much the way they played against Germany in the opening game. To say, all right, we'll contain, we'll frustrate and whatever, and then Germany, of course, broke through from the back and scored.
Alain Roche for the French. Jokayev. Defender couldn't be much tighter, but he's held him off.
Oh, he's got great movement.
Now Desailly, can he thunder one in? Space wouldn't open up, but it might do now for Desailly. Once again, the door was closed. Here's Lamouchi. Thuram wins it back and gets flattened in the process, and offside as it's played into Lamouchi. The goalkeeper made a good save, but it didn't in the end, matter.
Yeah, it wasn't Lamouchi offside either. I think it was Yorke off in the middle was offside, Alan. Just about makes it there to run. Keeps the ball in play, keeps it rolling, but we're not going to see the rest of it. There's the ball in, he rolls it in. There's a nice little threaded ball over the top there. You need to see it from the side, but actually Lamouchi I didn't think was offside there. I thought it was Yorke off in the middle.
And treatment here for Václav Němeček. Foul on Laurent Blanc, was it? No, not given. And now they could get forward here. That was an absolutely vital interception because Drulac was almost through then, but now it's the chance for Zidane to go through, and he's trodden on the ball, and the Czechs have it back.
Yeah, he'd have made a rick there, actually, Drulac. He's made a spin run again down the sides, but he'd actually gone a little bit early on that last run. The linesman on the far side had flagged him.
Certainly did look offside, yeah. Referee waved play on. Laurent Blanc. Goal kick. Němeček, who used to play in the French league, incidentally, played for Toulouse for 3 seasons, is back on, having had some treatment on the touchline. He's the most experienced player in the Czech squad. This is his 60th international today. That is, if you include the caps that he and his teammates gained when it was Czechoslovakia rather than the Czech Republic, which became a separate nation 5 years ago. Since then, they've won 16 games, drawn 6 and lost 4. And that underlines how difficult they are to beat.
I tell you what, they're going to be tired at the end of the game. The two Czech markers, Rada and Ornia. They're having to cover miles to stay with the French front people.
It's Kadlec.
I think that's the first time any of the Czech Republic defenders have been over the halfway line.
Now Schmitzer again shows his ability on the ball and was hoping for a free kick then, as he was challenged by Thuram, but hasn't got it. Now, Djokayev, can he get in behind the last defender, Horniak? No. Good sliding tackle by the big number 15. He gets it back now from Němec and opens it out intelligently. And Kadlec and Radar play it forward between them. Now it's come to Poborský. Only Drulac ahead of him at the moment. Well, you can see his intention.
Yeah, but that's what they need. They need a little lift from him. He always looks to play here. Poborský and Nedved, they look to players who will give them that spark. It's ironic, really, as Poborský picked this up. As he picks this up, Nedved is powering on the outside of him, screaming for it, but he goes inside and tries a reverse ball, which he doesn't quite see her.
Well, apart from the save by Koba, the Czech goalkeeper, which was ruled out because of offside, as indeed is that attack there.
Oh, Alan, that could be. I think Laurent Blanc stepped up very, very late there. In fact, yep. Here's the ball. He's made his run. I'll tell you what, he's not offside. He looks a mile offside when he's received, but Laurent Blanc has stood up after the through ball's been played. Mind you, I'm not sure Drulac could have had the energy to have got to the penalty box from there.
Lamouchi, can he bring a save from either goalkeeper, which is what I was about to say. There hasn't been a meaningful one yet. Drulac. Schmitzer. Němec. And here's Schmitzer again. Nice little back healer for Němec. But a very good tackle by Laurent Blanc. Thuram keeps it in play, but has given it away to Radar. Lamouchi angles it forward to Zidane. Couldn't quite take it in his stride, and the impetus was lost. And Poborský shows he can work hard as well as show ability on the ball, a factor that I'm sure will exaggerate the interest being shown by our clubs, Ron.
Yeah, I spoke earlier about Desai making runs through, but I think Zidane's got to make a few runs through from that central midfield area. I think the strikers are splitting well. They're working hard to pull the markers, the Czech markers about the field. but then they're looking for somebody else to run through in support, and they're not getting that at the moment. The French are sitting very, very solid in midfield with the 4 in there. With very few of them prepared to break forward. I think they're quite happy. I think Zidane is quite happy to receive the ball to feet. I'd like to see him doing... He's just drifting away and now a little bit making a positive run forward. I'd like to see him doing more of that.
Well, I think we'd all like to see something positive from one side or the other at the moment. Here's Lizarazu for France.
I mean, I think we should qualify that and say the Czechs have a game plan, and that's to stifle. And at the moment, they're doing it excellently. I just feel that the French have got to just step up a little bit now.
And now they've lost the ball and committed a lot of players forward. That was Blanc, the sweeper, who was dispossessed. But they couldn't get enough pace in the counter-attack. And a pretty poor ball by Brulac has given it back to Lizarazu anyway. And now Lamar, who's having a quiet day of it, something he doesn't like. He likes to be involved in the action, this fellow. Zidane. Orniak. Knock it back, keep possession, and try and frustrate.
He's bedded in very well, the Rada, the marker at the back for Czechoslovakia.
And Niemetz, Schmitzer, he's been the most exciting player so far, but that's twice when he's got in a shooting position, there's been a rush of blood to the head.
I think he's the one that gives you the expectancy because he's got the pace, hasn't he?
Well, I know watching back in our Wembley studio is Glenn Hoddle. Glenn, it's not exactly a thriller minute at the moment. What do you think it needs, this game?
Well, obviously, it's been very disappointing, Alan, as you rightly say, and I just feel that both teams are giving the ball away so easily in the last third. I don't know whether it's fear or whether you've got some sort of a heat wave up there that we don't know about, but the game seems to be played at such a slow pace, and I think the French have got to inject a little bit more pace and movement off the ball if they're going to get anything out of the game. And I just feel the Czechs are keeping their back 5 together and got to throw more bodies forward. But I think that will probably happen in the second half when the game opens up a bit. But it's been very disappointing. I think both goalkeepers at the moment could go home.
I can assure you there is not a heat wave in Manchester today.
I was going to say the goalies will be freezing. It don't matter anything else.
Taborski for the Czechs, looking for Drulac with that long ball, trying to split the French defence. Laurent Blanc in a bit of trouble, was he? But Drulac had a tug at his jersey. It was seen by Leslie Mottram. Free kick to France, and Laurent Blanc got a whack as well in the process.
I mean, it's a long searching ball, and at this stage you would have thought Laurent Blanc was well favoured. But the lads persevered. To be fair to Drulac, he's persevered and didn't appear to catch him.
Laurent Blanc, who scored the vital winning penalty in the shootout at Anfield against Holland. And at the moment, I wouldn't think the bookies would give you great odds on this going to a penalty shootout as well.
No, but you do know, you must know that in the second. Oh, Blanc is hovering badly at the moment. Whether he's just tweaked an Achilles tendon or something there when he's making the run. What you do know, the French must get the biggest volley of the ball at half-time. If it stays like this, I'm sure Jacquet's going to be flying into them. I mean, apart from the front two, there's not that much passion or I won't say commitment. I say a passion about a side that's looking to go to the final, to a major final.
Taborski trying to wriggle free of his marker, but has lost out. One back well, though, by the Czechs. Now Niemetz. And Taborski's got forward again with great effect down the right-hand side. Drulac's found a bit of room in the penalty area, but a disappointing cross. Strong rumours, as we were saying before the match, of interest from various English clubs, but apparently his club, Slavia Prague, we've already sold a couple of players in the last few weeks. Players who are in the Czech squad here says, no, we've lost enough key men, he stays with us. No doubt that could change, given the right kind of financial persuasion, though. Here's Desailly. And now Thuram. Oh dear.
Radra and Horniak very, very sharp to spot anything down the channels. I mean, both French strikers, as I've said, Loco and Djurkov, are making these runs down the channels or across little crossover runs. But the Czech defenders, the Czech markers at the back, are getting there very, very quickly.
Now they're on net yet. Hello, Lizarazu tries to claim he won the ball.
You know, it's ironic as well. This is one of the few referees we've seen in the last few games that wants to get a tempo to the game. You can think of games you've seen recently where you think, oh, if that ref had let that go, this wouldn't have some tempo about it, the game. I tell you, at the moment, the ref is probably the quickest, most active player on the field.
It's like a pre-season friendly at the moment, this, isn't it? Not the semi-final of one of the world's great competitions.
You know, and I know it sounds bad. It needs somebody really, I don't know, Desai, two of the big guys, to go and really clatter into each other, you know, and upset somebody.
We need Stoichkov, really, don't we? He can upset anyone. He could cause an argument in a desert. But he's not here. And in fairness to the Czechs, they are still in this competition with a vengeance as Desai goes forward. And that rates as a moment of excitement.
That's the best moment of the game. His burst, he's played a little 1-2 off Zidane, he's carried the fight, he's surged, and he's hit a reasonably decent shot. And there you see him use his power. He's thrust away. Doesn't quite connect, but it's still decent. It still is easily the best effort.
How different it will be at Wembley tonight. Of that much, I think we can be certain. Well, the French here in fair numbers, and confusingly, of course, the Czechs also have very similar colours, but not so many of them.
When you go to Parc de Paris and see, you know, you go and watch Paris Saint-Germain or whatever, the noise from that stadium is always to me is incredible, and I don't fully expect it to hear a very noisy, rowdy crowd this afternoon.
Well, I suppose you'd say the play hasn't done much to excite the crowd. Now that will excite certainly the referee, because Thuram's challenge there on Schmitzer was naughty.
I think you should book him there. I think he's late. He's very, very late. He's crashed. He's hurt himself into the bargain, Thuram, but you know, he tried to make up the ground late.
I suppose, in fairness, when you saw it from that angle, he did have his eyes on the ball. I don't think he knew what he was doing, but nonetheless, that looked a nasty one. And
yeah, it wasn't there.
Down.
It wasn't there for him to get.
No.
I mean, he's coming there late. It actually doesn't look so bad from that angle, in all fairness.
Yeah,
but
he was watching the ball.
It's dead level in front of us, and I think he was making up ground.
Well, there might be a few stitches needed here for Vladimir Schmitzer. But the Mrs. Schmitzer to-be will be glad to hear it's only in the head. I wonder if his wedding will be going ahead this week, or whether he'll have to postpone it for a different date at Wembley Stadium. Anyway, he's going to have the old John Weil, wasn't it? I know you're a great student of the game. Was it John Weil? West Bromwich Albion wore the headband once in that FA Cup semi-final, was the hero.
That was a semi-final, yeah, but it was a lot. It had a lot more tempo than this game.
It did too.
Oh, not much.
Now, Schmitzer's in trouble here, and they seem to be signalling the medical staff to the bench that he's not going to be able to continue. Thuram is all right, though looking a little dazed, but Schmitzer, you could tell the moment he went down, he wasn't playing around, he really was hurt.
Well, it looks like Patrick Berger's coming on, doesn't it? And we understand he's not fully fit.
That's right.
That's a blow, because this, you look at Schmitzer, he came into the squad into the team fairly late, and has looked a spark. He hasn't done much. He is yellow carding him.
Yes.
And I think that's right as well.
That must be the most delayed yellow card of the championships. He obviously waited for the players to receive treatment before Thuram.
I think the malaise of the players is catching the ref now.
So a booking for Thuram, and sadly, the man who he fouled then will play no further part in the game. And a bit of kidology, obviously, by Buchrin, the coach of the Czechs, because we were told that Berger probably wouldn't be able to play. He'd been ill, and they intended to have him in the starting lineup, but decided he wasn't well enough for that. And now he's about to come on, albeit in rather unfortunate circumstances for his side. And Berger is a midfield player, whereas Schmitz is an out-and-out attacker, so they might have an even more defensive lineup now. Here goes Thuram. Well, Ron, you did say it needed a crunching tackle to get things going here. I'm sure you didn't mean that.
Well, particularly, as I say, from the Czech Republic point of view, losing that particular player.
Lizarazu for France. Can they take advantage of this momentary lapse in concentration, perhaps, on the part of the Czechs, who only have 10 men on the field still? Berger waiting to come on. A long-range shot by Alain Roche. Well off target, to be fair. Now, I think Berger will come on, or, well, at the moment he was ready to come on. It looks as though there's been a change of heart down there on the bench. Perhaps Ukraine's been told there is a chance of Schmitz being able to continue, and it is very close to half-time, so I would have thought maybe it's a gamble worth taking, staying with 10 men for, what, a couple of minutes, Ron? What would you do here?
Yeah, I think if the medical advice is they could get him back on, I think it's worth the gamble. But I think in this period, Thuram should really try to carry the fight down this side. So they've got to throw the ball away an awful lot from the back, Platek and people like that, Kadlec, because there's nowhere really to play it. They've got no targets to hit at the moment.
Thuram tries to get in the cross, Novotny blocks it, and I think I'm right in saying that's the first corner of the game in the 45th minute. And that tells the story.
If it's the first time Thuram, who I have to say has impressed me in the games I've seen on the television, the early games. It's the first time he's really made any progress.
Keeper coming for that one and missing it completely. Has he got away with it? He has. He was lucky. Didn't really look on, but once he committed himself, he had to keep going. Going to stoppage time now at the end of the first half as France attack again. Lizarazu with a good-looking ball, and the keeper this time was much more certain with his punch clear and was fouled anyway. They've got a free kick. Ukraine hasn't made that change and will be desperate to hear the whistle now, because his team are down to 10 men, and it looks as though he's going to stay that way until he gets the dressing room half-time report on the injured Schmitzer. France 0, the Czech Republic reserves 0.
Football 0 at the moment.
Aye. Roche for France. Lizarazu on the left. Well into stoppage time now. Over a minute play. Laurent Blanc, it's his first real opportunity to come forward. And that's the end of a tedious first half, quite honestly, at Old Trafford, that can't have been enjoyed really by many people. And inevitably, we have reached the interval with no goals here between France and the Czech Republic. I can confirm that Patrick Berger is on as replacement for Vladimir Schmitzer. Patrick Berger, an excellent player. He spent the last 2 years in the German league, and indeed Borussia Dortmund, his club, have won the championship both those seasons. And he was top scorer for the Czechs in the qualifying competition with 6 goals in 7 games. But he is really a midfield player, not a front man. So I would imagine they'll rejig things, perhaps sending Poborski to play alongside Drulak up front in the second half. And looking at the way they're lining up now, that appears to be the case. The sun out here, but don't be deceived, it's still a coolish day in Manchester. Old Trafford looking a magnificent sight, I must say. The stadia in these championships underlining what fantastic improvements have taken place with our grounds in the last few years. So it's the Czech Republic in the red shirts and attacking the goal to our right who get the second half underway. Well, I mentioned that the first 45 minutes was very similar to the first half between the Czech Republic and Portugal. The second half was a lot better, I can tell you, and let's hope the second half here follows that pattern. Loco for France. Orniak got the ball off him. This is Nedved. And again. And he goes down under the challenge from Loco. That was a very late whistle from the referee. He seemed to be playing on initially, but the free kick has been given.
Tell you what, Brian, I think... Brian, sorry. Even I've got caught up with it. I think Nedved there has kidded the referee a little bit there. Lost possession, gave the ball away in that area. And I think he's done the dying swan act.
Yeah, it worked then.
Yeah, I mean, I think that threw Les Mottram a little bit. I think Les Mottram was sort of, shall I, shan't I?
Free kick to the Czechs, taken by Kadlec, who plays also in Germany for Kaiserslautern. And the substitute, Berger, gets his first touch. And then given away by Novotny. Zidane. Oh, that's nice skill by Zidane. Keeps the attack moving with Thuram. The foul goes against the French player. Foul on Patrick Berger.
Yeah, I think you'll find Patrick Berger will occupy the left-hand spot a little bit more, basically to try and prevent this. I mean, they'll be well aware that Thuram will like to bomb on, give him the space, and I think that's the reason why Smitsa played there in the first place. I think you'll find Berger will occupy that left-hand slot.
Foul on Nedved. And the throw-in is to France. Certainly talking about this fantastic French run, 27 games without defeat before today. They're not very far away from the all-time international record, which is 32 games without defeat, set by the great Hungarian team of the 1950s. Whether they deserve to be thought of in the same breath as them is a highly debatable point, but you can only...
You can't imagine Puskas and his mob performing like this too many times.
Here's Zidane. Good little ball for Guérin. Loco ahead of him. And Lamouchi arriving. Zidane in support. Jokayev on the left. Orniak's interception. Nedved. Well played. Desailly. Now Zidane. Guérin. And the sweeper's coming forward. Laurent Blanc. Clattered into Niemetz. And no doubt the Czechs are thinking, we got just about a team full of players booked for less challenges than that against Portugal.
Yeah, it's the all one again, though, isn't it? Foot up. I was going to say continental referee, but it's Les Mottram. That's one of the few occasions, incidentally, Laurent Blanc has stepped into play. I mean, there was a discussion at half-time about Sammer, the way he does it for the Germans. Well, Blanc does that very, very well for the French, or has done over the years.
So this strangely subdued semi-final continues in its rather gentle way. Gentle about that challenge, but certainly the football hasn't reached excitement level yet. Desailly. Jokayev. And he used his arm, according to the referee. Free kick to the Czechs. Niemetz. There's yet another who plays in the French league, for the German league rather, for Schalke. Now Patrick Berger. Poborski. A bit of excitement when he's on the ball, and a free kick he's won. It was from a similar position he set off to score his wonder goal against Portugal, and that's going to earn a yellow card here for Alain Roche. the second player in the game, both of them Frenchmen, to be cautioned, Touron and Roche. Stepping back from the free kick. Looks as though he might try and set it up for Nedved, who seems to be poised for the shot. And when it came, he was never likely to bother the goalkeeper. However, Desailly has made a mistake. Lizarazu's got him out of trouble, but now Berger. Oh dear, the layoff by Němeček was woeful. Doing their best to inject a bit of passion and life into the proceedings. Gurin finding Desailly. Jokeyev. Lovely little skill. And they've got a lot forward here, the French. Now, how does the referee see that? He sees it as a goal kick. Lamouchi's run was in vain.
There's some bright passing there, and Lamouchi looked very, very positive. I think this is good defending here from Rada. Stands there, gets his body across the run. All right, they both stumble at the end of it. But the important stage there was when he actually got inside, if you like, of Lamouchi's run. He's done very well. I've been impressed with Rada, considering, you know, he's been brought into the side.
Desailly beaten in the air. That doesn't happen too often, but the ball pumped back in. A difficult one here. The goalkeeper had to come and claim that one. Peter Koba, who's rumoured to be the subject of a big bid from Wolverhampton Wanderers, but just about every player seems to be linked with somebody or other in these championships. There's only Big Ron, who hasn't been the subject of a transfer bid so far. Not that I know of, anyway. Anyway, here go the French forward again, and Jokeyev getting into a good position in the middle. No problem for Koba this time.
If there's a glimmer of optimism for the second half, for me, it's the fact that Desailly looks as if he's gone about, he's getting fed up with and frustrated with what's gone on, and also the big right back Touron looks as if at last he's realised he's got to start producing something definite, something positive.
Desailly now for France. Touron.
I mean, they've been brave, they've been organised, the Czech Republic, but in all fairness, if you're in a semi-final, this is the sort of match you'd want. This is the sort of opponent you'd want. A depleted team that are handing the initiative to you. Now, what is disappointing me at the moment, whether or not France just say this is it, we'll just keep grinding away. We assume, we know we're going to nick something out of the game.
Dvorsky has it back for the Czechs. Oh, that turned out to be a good ball for Drulak over the defender's head. Well, he shot when really I think the best option was to lay it infield to Nedved. Easy for me to say, I know. But I'm sure when we look back at the replay of that, you'll see that Drulak made the wrong decision there.
I'll tell you what Drulak does do very well on this. He gets between the two central defenders of France very well. Good first touch into space. He probably, from there, in all fairness, wouldn't have seen Nedved supporting. You know, I mean, he's been starved of a chance all afternoon. He's created himself something. And it wasn't the world's worst effort. In fact, it's the best effort of the game, I think.
Probably right.
But what would be disturbing is the way he just got the space between the two defenders. Whether that means that possibly the Czech defenders have started... Sorry, the French defenders have started to lose concentration.
There's Patrick Berger for the Czech Republic. Still 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Němec for the Czechs. Offside. Novotny's run.
I still believe that, though. The slower the tempo, the more it will suit the Czech Republic. Because they play a lot of their league games at a very slow, steady tempo. They don't play a high-pressing game or a high-pressure game.
Now there's a useful ball for Lamouchi if he can keep it in play. And he did that, and indeed wins the corner as it hit the defender and deflected behind. So that little bit of determination pays off. The French, a dangerous team from these set pieces. They'd taken the corner very quickly before the central defenders had time to get into a good position. That was a waste, really.
In all fairness, though, if you'd have looked then, I also noticed that the Czech defenders were walking back and not looking at the ball. I mean, it needs something bright like that. It might need something to change the course of the game.
They've got another corner, anyhow. Desai getting up, he missed it. And it comes out to Zidane, who missed the target. He actually made his debut, incidentally, against the Czechs as a substitute when they were 2-0 down, France, and he scored 2 goals to save the draw.
Yeah, that would have had to have been some strike to have netted, though. It would have had to have gone through a crowd scene.
That was the 4th game in France's unbeaten run, which now stretches to 27. Whatever they do here today, they've done better than in Sweden 4 years ago when they didn't get beyond the first phase. In fact, they were in England's group in Sweden in 1992, and both went out after the group games. Loco. A long ball forward for Zidane to chase. Horniak across first, good defending.
And I think that's the first run off the ball I've seen Zidane make. It's ironic because just at that there's a group of supporters just to the right of us who started chanting the Eric Cantona song.
Berger helping it back to Novotny. It's a throw in to the Czechs. And the Czechs quite happy to go back again from their own throw in near the halfway line. I'm sure they will regard the possibility of extra time and even more so penalties as an absolute triumph. I don't think they're desperately concerned about entertaining. They're just concerned about keeping their fine run in these championships going.
But they'll think they've achieved more towards their strategy than the French have. I mean, the Czechs they've been blatant in the way they're playing it, and you know they've achieved it quite well. And what they'll rely on a little bit of individual brilliance, if you like, from Berger or a little Poborski to try and snatch them something. The rest will be built on the solidness behind that.
Must be one of the quieter internationals Lamar has taken part in. His 33rd cap this today. Huge kick forward by the French keeper. But the Czechs have it back again. Poborski's layoff to Nedved. That's a useful return ball to the little man on the right. Well played. But the second challenge by Lizaru was a good one. Now Guerin. Poborski got a little whack on the knee there as the challenge came in.
I've seen players have treatment for a lot less than that in this tournament.
Very loose ball there by Němec. Almost cost him dearly as Zidane came in. Here's Berger for the Czechs. Ledar. Given away to Desai. Now Djorkaeff. Zidane. Possibilities here for Zidane. Turned full circle and turned into trouble as it happened.
Once again, a very, very good, strong interception there from Rada. To be fair, he had to do it. He started the attack going against his team by giving the ball away.
And there's Schmitzer, the player who had the head injury. He's not going to look too good in his wedding photos, is he, if he turns out like that? Imagine explaining that to your grandchildren. Grandad, why did you look like that in your wedding picture? It's a long story, son. Here's Poborski. Clearance by Laurent Blanc, but it's straight to Nedved, offside. It won't count here. Drulak was offside.
But that's an encouraging thing, is that Poborski, in fact, to be fair, from a neutral's point of view, you want Poborski to have the ball as much as possible, don't you? And there's that clever little lob, puts it into an area. Bad header clear, rebound header, and Drulak offside.
Desai coming forward now for the French. And again. Guerin runs into trouble. Poborski had to turn away as Loco cut off his route out. Blanc wins it back again. Bit of activity on the touchlines here. It looks as though the French are about to make a change, we understand. Pedros, the player about to come on. He's certainly an exciting player who might lift this game. Goes at people, a lot of pace. Came on in the Anfield match against Holland in the quarter-final. Here's Lizarazu. Desailly. Couldn't release Lamouchi, who I understand is the player likely to be replaced. And Lamouchi gets it back again. Can he sign off in style? Guerin. Djorkaeff. Sniff of an opening here for Djorkaeff. Brilliant! Make a note of the time. We've had 1 hour and 1 minute, and we've had the first moment of real excitement in the game.
And we've seen it from the Frenchman that's been most likely to. Picks up good control, cuts back in on his right foot. Incredible shot, desperately unlucky not to put his side one up. But nobody's worked harder or looked more likely to do something than Djorkaeff.
Well, forgive me if I sounded very excited when that hit the bar. Not only was it the best moment of the game by a mile, but I also had a little wager on him to score the first goal. Anyway, the change has happened. Reynald Pedros has come on his way to Marseille from Nantes next season, as we look again at the highlight. Poborski for the Czechs. That's a useful ball. And Lamar had to make that catch. Drulac was poised on the far post. Good safe handling there by the French keeper, Lamar.
Yeah, lovely ball in from a deep position, but you really wouldn't expect Drulac to be out leaping French defence there, would you?
Now the pace is picking up at long last, and we're getting some excitement as the ball is played in towards Djorkaeff. Well, he's making me sweat, isn't he?
Yeah, we've just seen 2 class moments from a class player. Lovely long ball down the side. Zidane making some movement at last. Gets a good hook on this. Gets a little deflection. He's coming very acrobatic, very agile, and very unfortunate not to put his side ahead again.
The French now most definitely getting on top, and their leading scorer in the qualifiers, who has 11 goals in his 21 internationals before today, has now twice in a matter of minutes almost given them the lead.
The other thing you wonder about is how much that early work that the Czech defence was doing may start paying off now for the French, because they did make the Czech defence do an awful lot of running. Now that's about the time when concentration starts to go and energy starts to flag.
The French just ahead on possession, but looking exciting again here as Pedros goes forward, and Djorkaeff almost there again. Good work by the goalkeeper, Koba.
Brilliant goalkeeping. That was brilliant goalkeeping. He's kept them in the game there.
Desailly wins the ball back for France, but not for long, as Berger wins it back. Now Poborski. Well, this is more like it.
Yeah, the game's starting to open out a little bit now.
Poborski still looks the man most likely to for the Czechs. Now Nedved, and that's a good ball for Berger. And Drulac is in a good position on the far post. Berger's done brilliantly here. Good block. Thuram with a vital tackle.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, people to Old Trafford would have thought that was Ryan Giggs there, weren't they? The way he's checked back and beat a couple of guys and then fired in a rocket. A tremendous blocking from Thuram. So all of a sudden, in the last 5 minutes, we've seen more excitement than the whole of the rest of the game put together.
And here's Nedved, and he's in trouble. Thuram's taking it off him, but Novotny will swing it back in again. Drulac, the only player in the box for the Czechs. Horniak. Oh, that was another important tackle, this time by Roche. Foul on Lizarazu by Horniak, free kick. 25 minutes to go. It's still goalless here in the first semi-final of Euro 96.
That's a lovely ball inside the defender. Now the defender throws himself in, lovely control, good composure, comes back on his favourite left foot, smashes it, and Thuram emerges from out of nowhere and makes a great defensive block.
Challenged by Niemetz on Guerin. And it's a free kick, is it? Yep. So Desailly comes forward, and Thuram, and indeed Laurent Blanc. Three tallest men in the French side, all inside the Czech penalty area here. Blanc just missed it. Pedros. Good ball. Zidane! Should have been the first goal. And he knows it.
There's some bright play from Pedros. Feels the ball through a hole. I think there's an offside decision there, but the referee let's play go on. And he really should have been putting them, as you said, 1-0 in the lead. Then we'd have had a lot of controversy about whether there was an offside in the middle.
The chances occurring at both ends of the field now.
So I think if you look at Kadlec in the middle of the Czech defence, you know, in the first game the Germans ran at him and produced 2 goals. Just seen 2 instances, A, where Yorkov ran at him and got the shot that hit the bar, and then the one when the keeper cleaned out. Kadlec, he doesn't look at all happy. He likes to sit behind 2 markers and have all the time and space in the world. When people have attacked him in the tournament, he's had a problem.
I hear from our man on the touchline that Lizarazu was actually cautioned a couple of minutes ago. I must confess none of us saw that, apparently for tugging at the jersey of an opponent. The undemonstrative Scottish referee must have made that caution very quietly. We didn't see it, but we are assured that's what happened. Here's Desailly. Jokayev, that's a good ball, but Loco's offside. Buffrin perhaps about to make another change here. And he's, I think, talking him through the final 22 minutes of the game here, telling what he should be doing at every second.
I think we've got to say as well, the game has improved, what, 200%?
Oh, yeah, easy.
At least something's happened. In fact, there's been 4 or 5 incidents in this half.
As I said earlier, I don't think it'll be quite as quiet as this at Wembley tonight. Blanc for France. It's good work by Niemetz, wouldn't let him go any further. Now Kadlec.
That's what he's happy. That's what he's happy doing, sitting at the back and spraying the ball about.
He does so again, but over the head of the disappointing and disappointed Drulak this time, who we think is the player who's likely to be replaced here. Kotulek will come on now, I think. He is really a defender, so whether that means that they've settled for what they've got here, only the coach knows.
Well, it looks as if he's signalling for Nedved to move into a more advanced position, and the only thing you can think of is that the little guy, Pavos, is going to be the Lone Ranger. He's going to go and do the dog job through the middle, if you like, with Nedved out on the right, Patrick out on the left.
Yep. So Kotulek on, and I suppose you'd say the only recognised striker in the starting lineup, Drulak, off. You can't blame the Czechs for that because, of course, they lost so many players through suspension for this game. Well, they committed a lot of men forward in this attack anyway, and the new man, Kochulek, gets a touch of the ball immediately. Němec. Now Novotny, who's had a sound all game out there on the left, considering it's his first ever international. Nedvěd, Němec. And offside, Novotny. That must have been close. Well, as many teams have found in this marvellous long unbeaten run for the French, they're a desperately hard side to score against. 18 clean sheets in that run of 27 matches. And they kept clean sheets in 8 of their 10 qualifying games for Euro 96. Can the Czechs puncture that record? Němec here. Poborský. And gets it back again. And he's striven hard for a bit of a result, but it's just not come his way yet. Here's Djorkaeff, who definitely looks the liveliest player when it comes to goal scoring. Here's Pedros. And that's out of play, was it? It is now, as someone once said. Zidane. And a foul by him on Němec. They're sort of like one of those boxers that you just can't put down, the Czechs, aren't they? They're sort of gritty little fellas, and they're all good players on the ball, they're good pros, aren't they?
Yeah, stickability. I mean, they've lost a lot of players for one reason or another. The squad's depleted. Somebody was telling me, you know, before they played I think it was the Italian game, they actually gave their training kit away thinking they weren't going to survive after that.
Well, going forward here, Nedvěd's thinking of more than survival. And he could have been thinking himself as a hero there. He applauds the great little cutback, but I think he ought to have done better with the shot.
Oh, it's a chance of a lifetime to go through to a final, lads. I mean, great work on the left-hand side by Berger. Great lift. Doesn't throw an orthodox cross, it spots his backs, picks him out, turns his toe too much, Nedvěd, and, you know, he got the early goal against Italy, but there, no. Good chance, missed that. Good chance.
Almost too deliberate, really. Nedvěd trying to side-foot it in. Now, here's Djorkaeff, who doesn't side-foot them at all. Oh, dear, that looked a good claim for a handball. It was an awkward one for the defender. Now, they go forward again, and Poborský's making a great run down the centre here. Oh, that's a very debatable decision by the referee, as Bond brought him down. He's waved play on. Zidane. Well, a couple of talking points there.
Yeah, there's a talking point there. That number 10 there, playing for France, who may become a world-great player, for me, isn't in the same class as the player that occupies this position normally at Old Trafford.
Yes, I think we've seen enough in those championships to totally agree with that. Challenge there by Němec. I think the referee's indicated corner, but it may be a free kick. Either way, it's a French ball anyway. Corner it is. Good punch clear again by Kober. He's not afraid to do that.
No, he made a right mess of one first half, didn't he? And I was watching particularly to see how he dealt with that. And he dealt with it excellently.
Thuram. Good ball. Pedros. He's done well, Pedros. And pulls it back for Loco. And Djorkaeff's in there appealing, and it wouldn't sit down for him. Now the Czechs have a free kick. Kotulek. Zaborski's giving it away to Desailly. Bit of room in the middle for Pedros. Zidane. Pedros.
Pedros looks lively, doesn't he? He looks alert and alive for it.
Just a quarter of an hour remaining in this first European Championship semi-final. France 0, the Czech Republic 0 at Old Trafford. And the nation will be dearly hoping and praying that it's England who meet one of these two teams at Wembley on Sunday. In the match, of course, live on ITV tonight. Now, Zaborski gets the chance of a break here for the Czechs. And slips the ball out for Němeček. Thuram got a cross, and the free kick has gone against the Czech player, which seemed a bit surprising. I can't work out how Mr. Mottram saw that as a free kick.
No, it just looked... In fact, I would have let the ball run on. Or play go on, because it looks strong defensive play from Thuram.
Pedros. Lizarazu. That's a foul, and there's no doubt about that. And indeed, I think it's going to be a caution for Nedved, or is it the substitute? They both made the challenge simultaneously here, and it's Nedved, in fact, who is the player caution, who was suspended for the quarter-final after 2 yellow cards. So that might be a bit of a record. He's got 3 yellow cards in the tournament now.
It's also hard to define which one should have been booked for that. They both seem to catch him at the same time.
Free kick to France. Is this the moment for the breakthrough? Djorkaeff plays it in. Disappointing. And Jacquet gives it the Gallic shrug of disapproval and ambles back to his seat.
In one of the earlier games, they were particularly effective with that that free kick. A goal and an own goal, wasn't it? With Blanc very influential in both of them.
Yeah. Thuram under pressure here from Berger. That's good work by France to get out of a little difficult corner there. Are we to get a winner in normal time? And need I remind you that if we don't, we've got half an hour of extra time, and then, if necessary, penalties. Pedros. Clearance by Radar was a good one to find Novotny. That's a good ball to release Berger down the left. Zaborski making ground in the centre. He's still there, and he couldn't find him. He overran it.
Do you know what? If Berger had done exactly the same as he did in that last movement, Nedved was in an identical position. Everything, it was like an action replay of the previous situation.
Now, France looking dangerous here. Zidane and Loco both inside the box. The cross so deep, it's actually picked up the supporting player, Pedros. He loves to take people on, Pedros, and he gets round the back, and it's a tempting cross. Němec trying to stop Djorkaeff, finding room to get it back in the penalty area. Oh, brilliant play by Djorkaeff.
I mean, those are areas. I was watching there, Pedros, 18. As the ball's crossed into a deep position, you would expect at this stage of the game people to be airing in, looking to try and impose themselves. I mean, that's 2 good crosses the French have made from either side in the last minute or so, and haven't had anybody near the end of a strike on them.
Another corner to France. A little over 10 minutes to go. Poor corner. Lizarazu will think about pumping it back in again, leaves it to Zidane. And good overlap by Lizarazu. And the block was just enough to take it behind for a 3rd successive corner. Nedved, the defender.
He's a good little player, isn't he? I mean, he scored goals near Nedved, and he's one of those that seems to be niggling and all over the pitch.
drills the corner out, and looks suspiciously like a foul then, but play goes on. Desai can't reach it, Berger got it away, and suddenly the Czechs find an opportunity to break again. They haven't really got enough players forward to make it meaningful. More activity on the touchline, incidentally. France are about to bring on Anglemar.
Looks a straight swap, doesn't it? Obviously, they're not happy with Thuram's performance going forward, I would guess, because Anglemar will get forward.
Guerin. Pedros, that's a good ball. Guerin again. Loco peels away towards the far post, but it was beyond him and beyond almost everyone. Novotny's clearance. Nedved. Niemiec. Poborski to his right. And a great white wall of defenders pulls back immediately into the covering positions. Here's Kotulek. Horniak. And Nedved suddenly gets beyond the challenge from Desai. And had no steam left to make the shot count.
He also had Berger sitting in a nice position for a little layoff to him as well.
Czechs are also about to make a change there, as you can see, but at the moment the ball is in play, so they'll both have to wait. Desai. Lizarazu. That's a good little run there by Roche. And the ball pulled back towards Loco, but not accurate enough. Niemiec. And now Poborski. Everyone marked then, and they had to pull it back to Niemiec, who's got himself in a bit of trouble on the halfway line in the challenge with Pedros. Now we're going to see the changes here, and it, as Ron said, it's going to be Thuram who will be replaced for the French. I think there might have been another yellow card as well then, as we were concentrating on the substitutions. All manner of activity down there on the touchline. Thuram on anyway. And coming on now for the Czechs eventually, when they make the change, is, well, Niemiec is the man who's coming off anyway.
Kubic going on, isn't it? The veteran.
Yep. Kubic, a player who's played in the Italian league, the German league and the French league over the years. Sweeper. And this is his 50th cap, in fact. Roche takes the free kick quickly and finds Djokaev. Djokaev, an angled ball, and Loco claiming that his run, or intended run, was blocked illegally by a defender, but the referee waves on play.
It wouldn't have mattered, Alan. The ball was too heavy for him anyway. He wouldn't have gotten the end of it.
Seven minutes to go here. It's 0-0. They're playing for a place in the European Championship final. Kubic in possession, the latest substitute, Nedved. Tried to release Kotulek, the earlier sub, but it wasn't a very good ball that time. Now Djokaev working hard and showing lovely control.
Yeah, he's been smashing. He has been smashing. If anybody's deserved to get a winning goal for his side, it's been Djokaev. He's had the two nearest attempts in his work, and general brightness has been encouraging.
Lizarazu to Pedros. That was an important interception there by Kotulek. Now Nedved. Some of these Czech players look out on their feet at the moment.
There's a little fella up front that keeps bombing about. The little number 8 Poborski, he's never standing still.
The crowd, or at least the French crowd, or maybe one or two of the neutrals, booing the Czechs for going across the field and backwards, but
I think if they're French, they should be looking more at their own side. So, I think the French have disappointed the game. I don't think you could expect a lot more from the Czech Republic.
Here's Kubík. Nedvěd, rather Němeček. Now Nedvěd, and that's a useful ball as well, and danger here, and he couldn't get it into Berger's feet quickly enough. Němeček. And now danger, surely, but just as quickly the threat went as Berger was tackled. We have under 5 minutes remaining. And it looks like the Czechs are close to another upset simply by surviving this long, when a lot of people thought the French would stroll through this, if you can stroll through any game at this level. Here's Kubík. Good work by Laurent Blanc. Zidane. Space on this side for Lizarazu. Pedros. Zidane trying to thread one through, and it's a very good ball as well. Loco's in a great position in the middle here, but the ball deceived, or at least outpaced Anglomar.
Oh, his first touch was awful. I mean, that was a fabulous ball from Zidane, and he loves, that's the sort of thing he would like. Anglomar running on, made a right mess of it.
We're just seeing the incident here where Němeček was booked for that retaliatory kick, having almost had his own head pulled off. I would have thought it was the case for both players being yellow carded, but Němeček's the man who got it. 43,800, the official attendance here at Old Trafford today. And it looks as though they're going to get a bonus of half an hour.
I don't think you'd have called it a bonus at half-time, would you?
No.
But it has been a much brighter, it hasn't been a great, it hasn't been a classic second half, but at least it's been far better than the thing that happened in the first 45 minutes.
I must say, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say here, Ron. I've got a theory these days. I'm not sure why we bother with extra time. Extra time is nearly always very, very cautious. Why don't we just go from 90 minutes to the penalty shootout?
I think those players that appreciate this at the moment, but I suppose it's like everything, it's untried, we've got to see it. I mean, I've said that, you know, I'm not a fan of the sudden death goal. I'd sooner have a certain target, and that, you know, if it has to be the way it's been for the last few years, so be it.
Here's Nedvěd trying to do without the need for extra time. Berger. Nedvěd still forward, so is Poborský. Ooh, that was an important header clear, and Desailly's still got a bit of work to do. He's done it well enough. And Laurent Blanc will walk it out. Remember, if we do have extra time, the golden goal rule applies, as Ron mentioned there. It doesn't have to go to half an hour, of course. Whoever scores first wins. But in the extra time that we've had in the knockout stages, the quarterfinals onward, we haven't yet had a so-called golden goal. They've all gone to penalties.
Yeah, the theory is that the teams get so sort of nervous about being the one who's going to make the mistake or whatever, that they don't commit themselves at all in the last period.
Well, that's what I mean. Why not go straight to penalties? Anyway, no doubt the top brass at UEFA will think nothing of that idea.
In all fairness, you'd have taken penalties at half-time today, wouldn't you?
Here's Poborský. Now, a chance here, surely, from Němeček. And he pulled it back to the wrong place. He could have been a hero then. Kotulek sets it up. Kubík. Still Kubík. And they just went a step too far. We're in the last 30 seconds of normal time. Whatever the referee decides to add. That's a bold effort by Berger, who's had a good game, really, since coming on as a half-time sub. Well, the French survived extra time and penalties against Holland at Anfield. And it looks like they're going to have to face a similar sort of task, if that's the right word, again here. Haven't been many stoppages that I can recall in this half. Well, not lengthy ones anyway. Here's Kotulek. Orniak. Kubik. Well, that's a very good ball by Kubik. Out to the left. Novotny. Berger is with him. And Nedved. And they keep possession and go forward again. Novotny making a run, but never had much hope of finding in that ball. Well, it's worth saying at this stage that Lamar here has never been on the losing side in a penalty shootout, either in junior or senior football, evidently, and he says he loves them. He's an extrovert who likes the spotlight, and he might be in it again today. Save that penalty, of course, from Seedorf, which proved to be the winning save, effectively, against Holland. Now, Tedros, forward to Djorkaeff, and the goalkeeper sprinted from the line at just the right moment. A minute and a half has been added by referee Mottram. Roche, Blanc. Is there to be a dramatic late winner here? There is not. That's the end of 90 minutes. The game will now go to extra time. You won't miss any of it, but let's take a break. Just to remind anyone who's unaware of the situation that we are now about to start half an hour's extra time, but it might not go the distance, because if there's a goal at whatever point in that half an hour it comes, it will be the winning goal, and that'll be the end of the game. If, however, there isn't a goal at all in half an hour, we will have penalty kicks to decide who goes through to the European Championship final. So the French now attacking the goal to our right, and the Czechs quickly get possession back again and give it away just as quickly. Here's Zidane, who had one of the best chances to finish the match in the regular 90 minutes. But Djorkaeff hitting the bar and hitting another onto the roof of the net came just as close.
I think it'd be interesting to see the mentality of either side, wouldn't it? To see which particular side wants to go for it, or whether they're prepared to sit it out and just wait for the penalty period. Apparently the Czechs were here last night training, and they spent most of the training session doing nothing else but penalties.
I wonder what that tells you. Here's Anglemar. Djorkaeff. Well, I suppose one side effect of this is that providing tonight's match at Wembley doesn't go to extra time as well, and the winners there, England hopefully, Germany possibly, will be delighted that this game has drawn on for another half an hour with all the tiredness and tension involved.
Yeah, but I wouldn't think they'd think that if they were watching it.
They're on their way to Wembley.
Yeah, but I also think that they've had enough after the first half.
Yeah. Desailly with lovely control there on the chest, looking to release little Tedros, but couldn't find him. Orniak. Forward to Poborski, good defending. Zidane. 6 players forward here for the French. Djorkaeff in possession. He's looked the man most likely to break this deadlock. He's got to get round Berger first, and he's proving a stubborn opponent. Goal kick. He thought he was going to get a free kick. Or a corner at least.
I think you thought he was going to get a corner, actually. In actual fact, Djorkaeff looks as if he's switched positions a little bit and come into more of a right-sided midfield role. It looks as if Zidane's pushed right up front.
Anglemar, the late substitute for France. Zidane. And the ball breaks to Loco. Now Djorkaeff. Berger has his route forward, blocked by the mighty figure of Anglemar, who wins it back well. Great run by Anglemar, and a good little angled ball by him to Loco. And that's danger.
And that's well dealt with by as good a player as Czech Republic have had today, Rada.
First corner in the first period of extra time to the French, and that tiny but noisy group of Czech fans behind that goal. The Czechs haven't had a single corner. Djorkaeff lifts it in high. Desailly getting up well, and the ball bouncing, and Anglemar was waiting to pounce as it came towards him, but the defender did well. Here's Guerin. Djorkaeff. It's a lovely run by Djorkaeff. Supposed to go back to him, but Zidane tried the shot himself in the end. The 1-2 having failed.
That's two he hasn't quite caught hold of, isn't it, Zidane?
Blanche clearance. Turned back in again by Němeček. Now, Berger. Poborski in a great position in the middle. It was unlucky. I'm sure it was the right thing to do, that early ball. And they've won it back again with Nedved. And a very good effort by Kubik, and that was a fine save by Lamar, because Poborski was coming in hoping for a rebound, but the keeper held on.
As Nedved looks for a minute as if he's going to take a shot, puts it back into Kubik's path. Kubik, who's been one of the great Czech players over the last few years, hammers in a great shot. As you say, Lamar doesn't half make it stop. Patrick Berger's been very impressive on this left-hand side, containing as well as, you know, the best attacks have usually come when he's in possession, but he's also done a lot of containing. He first had to deal with Thuram, and now he's got Anglemar, who are both very, very progressive fullbacks.
Guerin finds Djorkaeff.
He's playing considerably deeper now, Djorkaeff, whether that's to give him space to try and pick the ball to run at people.
Pedros running at the Czech defenders. But a poor layoff. But the Czechs getting squeezed back here.
They've only got one outlet up front.
Having to defend very deep at the moment.
Yeah, there was an offside decision given the referee. Les hasn't seen. That was from the earlier attack. But sometimes when they defend so deep, the Czechs, and they win possession, they've really nothing to hit. They can either throw the ball away back to the French fullbacks, or they can try and play a little build-up football on the edge of their own penalty area. Where they've been fortunate is the French really haven't pressed, which has surprised me. I would have thought, like, with the likes of Desailly and people like that who play in a Milan side built upon pressing, that they would have been trying very much to hustle and harass the Czech back line.
It's a fine tackle by Anglemar, and a fine ball forward to Loco. Now, will he go all the way here? He's looking for support. Oof! We could have had a golden own goal there.
You know, I didn't think Loco wanted that enough. When the ball came to him, he was always looking for an easy out on it instead of taking it on himself. I think he could have gone in there and made things happen. Novotny.
Poborski, the only man ahead of him at the moment. Nedved in a good position too. He looks for him, edge of the box, and Nedved did well, but Lizarazu did equally well and got a crack on the shoulder. Now Blanc. Some tired players out there. Jokayev. Anglema. And gets it back from Loco. Was he brought down there by Kubik? The referee has said yes. Free kick. And it's a yellow card, in fact, for Kubik.
If you like, that's an experienced foul, isn't it? Just did enough to nick him, pull him down. Definite free kick. Probably didn't look violent enough for anything more serious than a booking.
Only one goal in these championships so far has been scored direct from a free kick. Jokayev and Tedros, the two players over the ball for France here. Jokayev hangs one in to the far post, looking for the run by Laurent Blanc.
Yeah, the delivery's good. He's put the ball into the danger area. Laurent Blanc just can't make up the ground. He's trying to get his right foot across. He can't quite make that last yard. Definitely looks as if it's the French that have said we'll try and win it by the new rule, by the golden goal, and try and avoid going to penalties.
Anglema's clearance has gone straight to Berger. Oh, brilliant run by Patrick Berger. And Poborski does well, and a dramatic fall, but it still earned him a free kick. Foul by Guérin. Sort of belly flop forward there.
That's where he's given the free kick for. The latter one, the first one, he was prepared to let go as 50-50.
Well, Patrick Berger has a sweet left foot, and he's likely to be the man to have a go here unless they leave it to the right-footed Cadlets. It is Cadlets, and it's a very good effort. Didn't look quite so close from that angle, frankly.
That was decent. It was decent, but in all fairness, Bernard Lamar always looks in control of it.
Kubik. The last 5 minutes of this first period of extra time. Guérin commits the foul. Poborski making the run from the free kick. He's on the end of it. It's a good little ball into Nedved, and that bounces for a corner. This will be the first corner the Czechs have had with 90 minutes and 11 minutes of extra time played. Poborski will take the kick, their first of the game. And now coming all the way, and had to be certain, and was.
He is, as you said, he is a very, very impressive goalkeeper, this player.
A very impressive kick, sadly, by him then.
Now, a little bit more angle on it. I think he was looking for Anglema to try and get a run against Cadlec. But whenever you see him playing for his club side, he always gives the impression that he's going to be hard to beat.
Novotny. Nedved making a mess of an accurate kick by his goalkeeper, picked him out beautifully. Well, errors are creeping in now because players are clearly tired. Kubik, that's an excellent ball. Nedved tries to get on the end of it. Good work again by that little fella. Lizarazu, who's had a very good game.
That was the pass of the match for me from Kubik. Brilliant through ball.
Here's Berger. Chance here for the Czech, surely. Berger's done brilliantly. And so too is the goalkeeper. Corner.
I think Novotny, the big number 20, should go and stand in front of Lama here and not let him have a run at the ball.
Only the second corner the Czechs have had in the game, and it almost paid off. The defender missed it at first, but it's gone to Pedros. Didn't quite sprint forward with the determination I was expecting. Here's Djorkaeff. Anglomar making a great break down the right-hand side, and he couldn't quite find him, thanks to an excellent challenge from Novotny. Czechs have a throw as well. Don't forget the build-up to tonight's second semi-final. I need hardly tell you who's involved. Starting in earnest, and we'll have a quick report from Wembley at half-time in extra time here, and that's pretty close now. But here's Kubik. Nedved. Poborski. Kubik's continued his run forward. Poborski might fancy a little dip himself. It's a great run again by Poborski. Just got there ahead of Nedved.
You thought for a minute, well, we're going to see history repeat itself, weren't we? It was bobbing and weaving in that hindsight left position. The ball was... He had better control than the one he scored on Sunday. And you thought any minute now he's just going to open himself up for one of those little standing shots. But the French have gathered round him, and as you so rightly said, good goalkeeping, that. Firm and solid. But if anybody deserves to win a semi-final, it's Poborski. You know, game after game, he's run himself... Well, I was just going to say he's run himself silly. He hasn't. He's run himself virtually till he can't go anymore.
That's half-time. We have 15 minutes, maybe, to decide one of the finalists. I say maybe because, of course, a goal would mean the end of the match. Winner takes all. Kubik for the Czechs. Kotulek. An opportunity for Djorkaeff to get forward. Kotulek did well to come and block his run and made the tackle as well. But still Djorkaeff. Zidane. That was an untidy layoff that he was fortunate to get away with. Here's Blanc. Djorkaeff. Looks for Loco inside right position. No problem for the goalkeeper, Koba.
Actually, I think Djorkaeff, when he received that ball, might have gone on himself. He dropped into that little midfield position. Blanc's found him, and he's tried to thread a ball again through the defence, when I think he might have gone himself there.
Nedved for the Czechs, and a late but fairly obvious offside decision against Berger. Well, I thought obvious. Berger obviously didn't.
It was obvious, but I just had a feeling that the linesman was going to miss it. When he plays the reverse ball there, I mean, it is an obvious one. He's well off. For a minute, you just thought, hey, the linesman's missed this one.
Lizarazu. Zidane. Loco in the centre. He's the only man in the penalty area at the moment, though Pedros arriving now, for the French, that is. Nedved for the Czech Republic. tired-looking Němeček. And Kadlec opens it up. Novotny. Good run by the new international. It's his first ever cap. Berger.
Novotny's enjoyed this a lot more as well since Lamouche went off. It's given him freedom to charge forward a little more.
Rush. Dreadful ball by Alain Roche. I think we're going to see more and more errors now. Fatigue playing its part. Well, are we going to see the first golden goal in senior international football? It's a new thing, of course, in these championships. Never been tried before at this level, and we haven't, as yet, had one. That's a free kick to the Czechs. Foul on Kubik, and Zidane gets telling off from the referee. Whether he'll go a step further, I'm not sure.
That's good refereeing, that, because he knows that Zidane couldn't get out the way of Kubik. I mean, Kubik's been one of the great Czech players over the years, as I say. Clever as well, experienced, very worldly. You would get a free kick if he just turned and ran into the guy.
Kotulek, and now Kadlec. Horniak. Waits and waits before delivering the ball. Not a very good one, but made up for his own mistake.
I was talking earlier about the Czechs were practicing penalties an awful lot last night in training. It is something in their mentality, the Eastern Europeans, and has been for a long time, where they sometimes set the stall out and say, all right, we will play for a penalty situation.
Lamore thundering forward and found Loco. That was an important little tackle on the edge of his own box there by the Czech defender, Radar. Now, there's a good ball for Poborský. Geran got back to deny him.
Poborský's ran from side to side. He's on the channels and gullies on both sides, in a position where I'm sure he's not happy. He's not over happy having to play as the out-and-out front leader, but it's one of those needs-must at the moment.
Alain Roche going forward. He got it back momentarily. Němeček with a good tackle on him, though. Now there's a good ball for Poborský. Poborský's done well. He's got two defenders to beat. Well, he did the best he could have done in that situation.
Yeah, he's unlucky, but I think if he could have just got at Laurent Bonk a little bit earlier, he would have saved the second defender getting up to him. That's a smashing ball there from Berger. As he turns inside, I'd like to have seen him just knock it out of his feet against Blanc, and I'm sure he'd have been clean in, one-on-one. The full marks for honesty, for endeavour. Just fancy just a little bit more zipper to him past the last man there.
Poborský with the corner there. Novotny getting up high, and it was a very fine catch again by Lamar. Well, if it does come to penalties, he's in form.
Oh, he's a springer, isn't he? I think I heard you saying the other night in commentary that he enjoys penalty situations. He enjoys those sort of shootout things. Maybe because he's a little bit of an extrovert, the focus comes on him.
Lizarazu getting forward with pace here. Couldn't get the cross in, but might still yet. And pulled it back for Pedros. Good defending by the Czechs. Still France have it. Jokayev goes down. Kubik made the challenge. Nothing has been given. Goal kick.
I'm just thinking it's the first game I've been to, I think, where there hasn't been a debated penalty decision. And then all of a sudden, Jorkev's trying to claim one. I must confess it didn't look as if he got many legitimate claims.
I suppose this golden goal situation puts greater pressure on referees, really, because obviously the odds are if you do give a penalty, it will be utterly critical.
Yeah, but I don't get the impression that Les Martrum, in all fairness, I think he's refereed it excellent.
Yes, as said before the game, he's one of the best I've seen from a pretty poor bunch, it has to be said.
You are biased against Rapture.
And whatever gave you that impression?
Working with you for so long. I think you stick little pins in them, to be fair. I honestly do. They've got the hardest job out of the lot. They probably make fewer mistakes than any player on the field.
No comment.
I see it like that!
Ukraine looks on and wonders if this fantastic story, which it is really, for the Czech Republic, is going to have another chapter added. Pedros. Lizarazu.
Been some awful play, really, hasn't it, from very good players. I mean, you can talk about tiredness, you can talk about this, but there are players that have come here today, and I'm talking of the French side now, with big reputations, and well, they've been very disappointing. Yet, as you say, they're approaching a record number of unbeaten internationals, and if things work out for them in the next 10 minutes or so, they're in the final of the second largest championship in the world.
Alain Roche to Pedros. The Czechs have a player lying injured as this French attack continues with Pedros. That's a good-looking ball. Great save. Well played, Koba.
That's a tremendous take. He's done well there, Pedros. He's taken the last man. He's dug it out. Loco's flying in, and he's had to stand brave, and he's had to be right clinical with his catching.
Well, that'll certainly lift his morale for the penalty shootout if it comes to that. But Anglomar goes forward. Ooh, the flying header by Radar has taken it for a corner. France have a corner. We might be seconds away from the winning goal. Blanc got up well, but the header directed only into the corner, where it's kept in play by Pedros. Good cross, but it was right to a group of defenders rather than white shirts. Guerin. Well plays Jokeyev. Can he be the man to finish it? Was that handball? It wasn't deliberate. It's still pulled back in anyway, and the goalkeeper made another good stop. The French were sort of claiming a handball, but not too enthusiastically, because it was ball to hand, I'm sure. Here's Berger for the Czechs. And Nedved. Kadlec. Kotulek. 5 minutes to go now. And the ball given away by Nedved. Pedros for France. Only Jokeyev ahead of him at the moment.
But he's the one that doesn't look to be tired at all. He looks to be full of running.
But Kubik made a brilliant interception then. Berger. Kubik. And back to Novotny. This is Kadlec. Slowing it down again now. The intention, of course, is to keep possession, not take risks, not make mistakes.
You see, they've overachieved, if anything, according, you know, by their own public and so forth, the Czech Republic. So anything more now is a bonus, isn't it? And I suppose I think if we can get to penalties, it's even Steven.
Injured player there for the Czechs, getting treatment, maybe a bit of cramp or an actual injury. Pedros for France. Lizarazu. Pedros again. They have a second attempt at the cross. And neither of them were very good. This is the penalty appeal, Ron.
Yes, taken out of his feet. He slams it very hard. You've seen him give him, in all fairness. I personally wouldn't have given that one. because I don't think the lad could have done anything more about it. And I also think they were still in an advantageous situation. I think Anglemar made a mess of the little parry, if you like. The little parry.
Němeček is back on, incidentally, having had treatment, so they're back to 11 here, the Czechs. 13 minutes to go. Oh, sorry, 3 minutes to go, I should say. Here's Desailly. That was an obvious foul, and Leslie Mottram was perfectly placed to see Guérin brought down. Jacquet looks on as Djorkaeff lifts it forward. Laurent Blanc! Well, how many goals over the years has he scored in that kind of situation? But that one was not to be.
That's the second occasion, isn't it? He's almost got there, been stretching off his left side. I mean, it's a beautifully flighted ball, and he's lost all the markers. Can't quite get round the ball.
Under 2 minutes remaining. Guérin doing well. Back to Anglemar. Now Blanc. Here's Zidane. Lizarazu as ever, occupying that position down the left. Pedros. Cross is good to the near post. Great turn by Djorkaeff, and he turned a corner off Cognac. Pulled back, surprisingly, to Pedros. Is that a penalty? No.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I was just waiting for that. I think he's just edged that a little bit too far away from himself, Pedros. No. Great, brave decision. Albeit Les Mottram wasn't too far away from it.
And the correct decision as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Not even an argument, that one.
We are seconds away from a penalty shootout to decide the first team to go through to the final of Euro 96. That was handball, Nedved.
You know, it's right. It does put terrible pressure on referees to give a controversial decision, doesn't it?
I think they've got to be 100% sure in this situation, yeah. Well, they've got to be every time, but even more so, yeah. That's it. We will have penalties to decide who goes to Wembley on Sunday. The penalty kicks will be taken at the Stretford end here, and the goalkeepers obviously can be the heroes in this situation, never the villains. It's often been said about 1 million times, I suppose, down the years, that no one expects goalkeepers to save penalties. If they do, it's a bonus. The Czechs can practice as many penalties as they like, but how can you recreate the tension of a situation like this? The first penalty will be taken for France by Zinedine Zidane. 5 penalties each, remember. And if they're still level after that, it's sudden death. So it's Zidane against Colbert, while Lamar, the French goalkeeper, has been told to move from wherever he was, standing originally by the referee. Now he's on the edge of the penalty area, a spectator like the rest of us. But these two are in the firing line. And Zidane has scored. France take the lead, 1-0. one of the most experienced players in the Czech team, one of the most experienced internationals in their history, steps up to take the first for them. It's Kubik, Luboš Kubik against Lamar. No problem. The keeper guessed the right way, but the shot had power and pace, and it's 1-1.
Well, that one went straight down the middle, actually. And we're talking earlier, Alan, I've said many times, I think in shootouts, I don't think the goalie should commit himself. I think he should stand his ground and hope that two go close to him. Now, I think if the keeper, if Lamar stood his ground on that one, he may well have hit him. When they take those very good penalties like England took on Saturday, they're going to need miracles to save them.
It's Djorkaeff against Koba. And the Frenchman is successful. 2 penalties out of 2. And a 2-1 lead at this point for the French.
That's a brilliant touch. And the goalie's made a full extension, and yet he's not going to get to it.
The French scored from all 5 penalty kicks against Holland in the quarter-final. Nedved to bring the Czechs level here. And has. Well, we've watched so many of these dramatic penalty shootouts down the years. You can never fail to sympathise with the sort of pressure these players are going through, but this is about as important as they get, really. This is for a place in the European Championship final. Lizarazu will take the 3rd French penalty. It's 2-2 at this moment. It's 3-2 France.
That's a tremendous one, isn't it? No chance at all for the keeper.
All 5 penalties have been successfully converted so far. Patrick Berger for the Czechs. Yes, it's 3-3. 100% record up to now. You can feel the delight, or it's really relief, I think, that the players feel when their moment in the spotlight is over and successful. So the onus switches back to the French again. Guérin will take the next penalty. Vincent Guérin of Paris Saint-Germain against Petr Koba. And that one's in as well. 4-3.
Yeah, that's a beaut. That's a beaut from Guérin. I didn't fancy it at first when he took a very short run up. I wouldn't like to see this little fella make a mess of it. He's done more for his side than any other player.
Poborski, who scored a wonder goal against the Portuguese, must be equally successful from 12 yards and is. 4-4.
To be fair, Lamar's virtually dived past the other post before he's got near the ball. But Poborski's reached the ball. Look, he's off and running already. I mean, he's not going to save it anyway, but...
Some of the fans evidently feeling the tension more than some of the players. There have been some very cool heads out there so far. Now at Anfield on Saturday in the quarter-final, Laurent Blanc had to score to ensure a place for his side in the semi-finals. And it's his turn again.
I wonder if he's going to be brave enough to try that little sort of shove toe ender low into the corner.
He has, and it's worked again. That's cool for you.
That's savable, isn't it? Alan, that one looked very, very savable.
Now all the tension inside this stadium is on Karel Radar. If he misses this, France are in the final. he score? It's 5-5. It's sudden death.
The Czech Republic goal scored by number 19, Karol Badan.
Well, now the situation is absolutely clear-cut. Each team are permitted 5 penalties. Each team has taken them, and each team has been successful. Now it's sudden death. You score one, if the next one by your opponents is missed, you're through. Pedros will take the first of the sudden death penalties for France. It's saved! Cobar has saved it! And France are on the brink of elimination, and the Czechs are one penalty kick away from one of the greatest stories in the history of these championships. If they score from the next spot kick, the Czech Republic are in the final.
And you should have seen the reaction from them in the centre circle. They all jumped up. I think they thought they had automatically won it by the fact that Pedros had missed the penalty.
I thought that was a little bit odd there, because the referee isn't quite ready yet as Kubik came forward. Unless I'm mistaken, he took the first penalty anyway, didn't he? So he can't take another one. So a little bit of confusion there, as the supporters' nerve ends are absolutely frayed to the edges here. It has to be somebody else. The Czechs got that wrong. Kubik was going to thought it was coming round again.
I have to say, I thought they were working the 5-card trick there. Well, this fella's been with them through thick and thin when they were Czechoslovakia. Before they were the Czech Republic, he's been all the way, and they're praying for him.
Miroslav Kadlec can give the Czech Republic a place in the final here if he scores from this penalty kick. They're there! The Czech Republic are at Wembley, where they will play England or Germany, and one of the most amazing stories in the history of this or any other European championship is almost complete. The rank outsiders, against all the odds, have beaten another of the big favourites and are through to the final. Quite incredible.